Imagine a world where death does not exist. How people would be alive if we never died? This question might seem outlandish, but it sparks a fascinating exploration into mortality and its impact on population numbers. Life, death, birth, and migration. These are the elements that shape our world's population. Yet, what if one of these variables was removed from the equation? Intriguing, isn't it? Now let's delve deeper into understanding population growth. Would you want to live forever? Leave it down below. Population growth isn't just about people being born. It's a complex interplay of birth rates, death rates, and migration. Let's break these down, shall we? First off, birth rates. Think of it as a conveyor belt at a candy factory, continuously churning out sweet little treats. In our case, the candies are people being born, continuously adding to the population. Now let's talk about death rates. This is like the quality control stage of our candy factory. Some candies, unfortunately, do not make it to the final packaging. In the human population, this represents those who pass away, which reduces the overall population count. Finally, we have migration. Imagine someone comes along and moves a handful of candies from one jar to another. This doesn't change the total number of candies, but it does change the distribution. Similarly, when people move from one place to another, they don't add to or subtract from the world's total population, but they do shift the numbers around a bit. So population growth is the result of these three factors at play. If more people are being born than are dying, and if more people are moving into a place than are leaving, then the population of that place will grow. But it's not always that straightforward. Sometimes external factors can disrupt this delicate balance. A sudden increase in birth rates, a spike in death rates due to a pandemic, or a massive movement of people fleeing conflict or seeking better opportunities can all cause dramatic shifts in population numbers. And it's not just about the numbers. The age distribution of a population, for example, can have profound implications for a society's economy, healthcare system, and infrastructure needs. A population with a high proportion of young people may have different needs and challenges than one with a large number of elderly citizens. So with these factors in mind, let's take a look at how population has grown historically. Because understanding where we've been can help us make sense of where we're headed. History tells us a lot about how populations have grown and shrunk over time. In the grand tapestry of human history, population growth has been a complex dance, shaped by a myriad of factors. In the distant past, our numbers were kept in check by the harsh realities of life. Disease, famine, and war were the grim reapers that culled our numbers. The Black Death, for instance, decimated Europe in the 14th century, wiping out about a third of the continent's population. The two world wars of the 20th century, on the other hand, claimed millions of lives, causing sharp declines in population growth. However, it wasn't all doom and gloom. With the advent of the Industrial Revolution around the late 18th century, advancements in healthcare and sanitation began to tip the scales. Vaccines, antibiotics, and improved medical procedures saved countless lives, leading to a population explosion. The global population, which stood at approximately 1 billion at the start of the 19th century, skyrocketed to over 7 billion by the dawn of the 21st. This exponential growth was driven not just by falling death rates, but also by rising birth rates and migration patterns. The historical perspective of population growth paints a picture of a delicate balance, a balance that has been tipped and rebalanced time and time again by the forces of nature, human ingenuity, and the march of progress. Now that we understand how population growth works and how it has changed over time, we can start to imagine what would happen if people never died. If no one ever died, how many people would be on Earth right now? Let's delve into some data and calculations to estimate this colossal figure. Imagine a world where no one passes away from natural causes, accidents, or diseases. Consider the dawn of recorded history, around 5,000 years ago. If we assume an average generation time of 25 years, that's 200 generations. Now suppose each couple from the second generation onwards had just 2 children. Starting with 2 individuals, we'd have 4 in the second generation, 8 in the third, and so on. By the 200th generation, this would result in a staggering number, a 1 with 60 zeros after it, far more than the estimated number of atoms in the observable universe. But let's reel this back a bit. That scenario is based on perfect conditions and doesn't account for factors like infertility, choosing to have fewer children, or the physical impossibility of accommodating such a massive population. If we instead assume a more modest growth rate, say a constant global population growth rate of 1.08%, which was the rate in 2023, we'd still have about 300 billion people today. The numbers are staggering, aren't they? But what would a world without death actually look like? A world without death sounds fascinating, but it would bring its fair share of challenges. Imagine for a moment an Earth where nobody dies. The sheer number of people would skyrocket, leading to a severe overpopulation crisis. With more people comes the need for more resources. Food, water, housing, and energy demands would increase exponentially, but our planet's resources are finite. We'd quickly run into issues of scarcity, potentially leading to conflicts and social unrest. Moreover, societies would have to grapple with significant shifts. Without the cycle of life and death, traditional family structures would change. The concept of retirement could become obsolete, with people working indefinitely. The dynamics of power and wealth could also become more entrenched, potentially leading to greater inequality. So, while the thought of immortality is intriguing, it's clear that death plays a crucial role in our world. We've taken quite a journey today from the concept of population growth to imagining a world without death. We've looked at how population changes over time and how this is influenced by births, deaths, and migration. We've also delved into the historical trends and considered a world without natural causes, accidents, or diseases. Finally, we've grappled with the challenges that immortality might pose. While we may not have a definitive answer to how many people would be alive if we never died, it certainly gives us food for thought about the nature of life and death, doesn't it?